Okay, so this is a video, second notes about chapter 1, and this one we are talking about economic choices. Every decision you make is an economic decision. So this is basically focusing in on kind of some terminology that goes along with that. So to start us off with, we have to talk about making choices, and every choice that you make has some motivations involved. So your motivations could include for example, some incentives. So your incentives are any action that is done to encourage something else. Okay, some other action. So if you think about it, there are incentives, for example, to join a particular club or a particular sport, right? It could be to get better at that sport, or it could be to just get healthy, make new friends, right? Or it could be, getting into that club, you have a specific interest. Maybe you're in it for the free t-shirt, right? Everybody's in it for the free t-shirt. Or if you think about, for example, going and looking for a job. I asked at the beginning of the semester everybody if they have a job. A lot of people say, I'm going to look for a job. Okay, well, what makes you want to choose to work one place over another, assuming that they are all willing to hire you? Other than how much they pay you, there's a lot of incentives that you could talk about. You could talk about time off. You could talk about um, uh, you could talk about health insurance if you when you get older. You could talk about things like, for example, free food. Let's be honest, teenagers, kind of crappy jobs. You get minimum wage jobs, but if you're going to be working at, for example, a restaurant, whether that be a sit down or a fast food place, a lot of times they'll give you free food while you're working, or half price or something like that, a discount. It's an incentive for you to work. Okay, now what happens eventually over time. My sister works at a restaurant, and it's an Italian place, and she gets free food while she's eating, and I think a discount when she's not working. So the question is, okay, so she eats a whole bunch of the pasta, and over time, eventually what happens, it's not so motivating anymore because yeah, you get a little tired of it. So we can also talk about motivations are good, incentives are good, but they also have to provide you with personal satisfaction. You also have to like those incentives. This is what we call utility. Utility is the personal satisfaction or usefulness you get out of a particular product. Now, utility varies from person to person and it varies over time. So, for example, I don't know if you have any elementary school age kids that you know. Maybe you babysit, you have a younger sibling or cousins or something. But this has been all the rage recently. It's a little old now, but the rainbow loom. Okay. If you don't know what these are, they're these little rubber band bracelets. My daughter has 3 of these things. Okay, so what happens is you get it in the box and has a big plastic thing that has hooks on it, and then you use these little rubber bands, about the size of like braces rubber bands, and you use the little hooks to be able to hook all these little rubber bands together and eventually form a bracelet. Now you're saying, what does this have to do with economics? Why are you talking about this with utility? Well, here's the thing. Like I said, very popular with the elementary school kids. My daughter has 3 of them. She loves the rainbow loom, okay? Huge personal satisfaction and usefulness to it. She has very high utility for the rainbow loom. Me? I hate that damn thing. Those stupid little rubber bands get all over her floor when she takes that dumb thing out, and then they're all over the house next thing you know, and you have to vacuum them up and blah, blah, blah. It's annoying. I hate those things, okay? But that's illustrating that the utility for this particular product is different for me versus my daughter. You can also talk about value, and value is the worth of something that's determined by both scarcity and utility. So just because something is very scarce, okay, doesn't mean necessarily it has a very high value. It also has to provide utility to people. I'll give you, for instance, if you're talking about artists, right? Rare pieces of artwork. I could draw something right now for you, okay? Draw a nice, lovely little picture for you, and okay, it's a rarity, okay? It's rare, it's scarce, so one of a kind. This is Stout Original. Would you buy it? Probably not. I tried this in class and everybody said, well, I could do that in 5 seconds. Why would I want to buy it out from you? Okay, here's the thing. It's scarce, yes, but it also has to provide utility. So value is determined by both scarcity and utility. All right, last thing on here is no such thing as a free lunch. There's what this means is that there's somebody that always has to pay for it. Even if I went and took you out to Chick-fil-A and bought you a Chick-fil-A sandwich for free, right? I have to pay for it. Even if the founder and the owner of Chick-fil-A goes and give you a quote-unquote free sandwich, it's not free because the owner has to pay for it. I know you've seen lots of these BOGO coupons, the buy one, get one, in this case free, and this is I think for Baskin Robbins for ice cream cones. But again, the second ice cream cone is not really free because you had to pay for the first one. Somebody has to pay for the resources going into that second ice cream cone. It sounds free to you, it isn't. All right, what about evaluating choices? Okay, so when we are making a decision, like I said, every decision you make is an economic decision. So when you're making decisions, you have to consider 2 things. First of all, your trade-offs, which is all the options that are given up when a choice is made. And the second thing we'll talk about in a minute is opportunity costs. So trade-offs are going to be when you have made a decision, everything else, all the other options and choices you have out there are all the things you give up. And that's what we call your trade-offs. So for example, let's talk about if you're choosing a college to go to next year, okay? And these are your 4 choices. And we're assuming you got into all 4 of them, okay? So you have a choice between IUPUI, Butler, Purdue, and Notre Dame. All right, so after you got all into all of them, you have to make a choice. Let's say that you chose IUPUI, okay? All the other 3, Butler, Purdue, and Notre Dame, all 3 of those are all of your trade-offs. Okay, those are all the things that you give up because you chose IUPUI. Now we can also talk about your opportunity cost. And the opportunity cost is the value of the next best thing. It's kind of like your second choice, your runner-up. As my husband likes to say, the first loser. So you chose IUPUI, okay, all the other 3 are your trade-offs, and so one of them is kind of like the runner-up, the one that you really would have picked, it was your second choice, okay, so maybe that'd be Purdue, okay, but because you're going out to IUPUI, you can't go to Purdue, so Purdue is your opportunity cost, okay. I'll give you another for instance. Think about what you had for breakfast this morning. I myself had a bagel for breakfast, okay. I also have cereal in my house, I also have toast, and I have oatmeal, okay? So because I had the bagel, I couldn't have the toast or the oatmeal or the cereal. So those all 3 of them are my trade-offs, okay? But my second choice would have been the cereal. So the cereal is my opportunity cost. Notice that opportunity cost is included in my trade-offs. All right, so that's part of it, but the other part of it is you also have to take a look at marginal cost and marginal benefit. So marginal cost, and the marginal means one more, okay, or extra, additional. So in this case, we're talking about how much more is it going to cost me to have one more unit of a product. And I say one more unit because it depends upon the product. So for example, I could talk about one more slice of pizza or one more whole pizza. Or I could talk about one more movie, right? Or one more hour. Okay, so it just depends. So marginal cost is how much more it's going to cost me to get one more product. Now marginal benefit, on the other hand, is the satisfaction you get from one more unit of a product. So how much happier am I? What's that term again that means satisfaction? Utility, remember that? So it's the utility, okay, how much more utility I have from one more unit of a product. Again, I'll give you a for instance. Okay, so here's what I gave to students in class. So I put this up on the screen and I'll walk you through it. So let's assume for your birthday your grandparents gave you $50 to spend, okay? You have to decide on two things you could potentially buy with this money. So, and I said to make the following chart, this option A, option B thing with the costs, okay? And this is an incremental thing because again, we're looking at marginal analysis. We're looking at one more. So in my case, I'm going to say that my option A is going to be movies, okay? So I could go to the movies, and my option B is going to be songs. I'm going to download songs, okay? And I'm going to actually pay for them, okay? So for example, I could go and, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot, I reversed that. I could go and get, for example, 10 songs, okay, at $10, or I can go to one movie, okay? At $20, I could go to get 20 songs, or go to 2 movies. Follow where this is going? So at $30, I could go to get 30 songs, or go to 3 movies. At $40, I could get 40 songs, or go to 4 movies. At $50, I could get 50 songs, or go to 5 movies. Okay, so here's the deal though, is that this is kind of just looking at a decision matrix. It's just looking at all my potential options with just songs and movies. These are the only 2 things I'm getting. So we're going to assume that you are only spending this $50 on songs and movies. We're also assuming you are not saving any of your money. Okay, so you're spending it all, spending all 50 bucks. So what happens is that I said assume you start at step 4 for option A. So if we start at step 4 for option A, that would be 40 songs, okay? So that means that if I decide, oh, I have 40 songs I really want to get because I've got a whole long playlist I want to get. So 40 songs, okay, that means that I spent $40 of my 50 bucks. I only have 10 bucks left. And remember, we're assuming we're spending all of it on just songs and movies. So I spent $40 on songs, that means I can only get 1 movie. So I'm at step 4 for option A, and step 1 for option B. Okay, now we can talk about marginal benefit and marginal cost. So if we're saying that we're originally at step 4 for option A and step 1 for option B, and then for whatever reason you choose to move to step 3 for option A. Maybe, for example, you decide that you know what, I don't have 40 songs that I can come up with. I got 30. I only got 30 songs. So you're going to go back off on the songs. So you're going to go down to 30 songs. Well, what happens to the amount of movies you can go to then? Well, you only spent $30 on songs, so that means you can now move up to 2 movies. Okay? So your marginal cost is that I miss out on 10 songs. Okay? Your marginal cost is, what do I miss out on? I miss out on 10 songs because I go from 40 songs to 30 songs. But my marginal benefit is I get 1 more movie, going from 1 movie to 2 movies. Okay? For number 2, okay, what if you choose to move to step 5 for option A? So let's go back, and we're originally at step 4 and we're moving to step 5. Now we're going to step 5. We gain 10 songs, okay? But now, because we're moving to step 5, we lose out on our movie. So our marginal cost is losing our 1 movie. Our marginal benefit is we gain 10 songs. So if this is totally confusing you and you're just like, what? Come see me during SRT. This will be on your quiz. So please, please, please make sure that you understand how this works. If you need to replay this explanation, go for it. But if you need, like, you're totally lost, come see me. We need to talk. All right, that's it for this video. I'll see you next time.